Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling Series for the 13th of November, 1982. Unfortunately, there is no first week in November here. I say unfortunately just because I'm a completist. In any event, Roddy Piper and Frank Monty are here. Match is a brawl. Obviously, Piper moving on to a feud with Flair in the past few weeks. A pretty major deal for him at the time. And he hits a back suplex on Monty in a matter of seconds and gets a victory there. Obviously, the tossing of the headdress into the face of the run with the team of Youngblood and Steamboat last week is also, or the previous couple of weeks, is also noted. Piper will not back down from Slaughter and Cornoodle. Piper will not back down from anybody, and Piper basically says that he believes that he and Wahoo, or he and anyone else, can defeat Slaughter and Cornoodle for the championships. Then we go to a live arena highlights series and brawling between Piper and Valentine. Pretty major deal there. Ric Flair comes in and interferes. We do see that this is leading, obviously, to the build for the Piper and Valentine thing at Starrcade almost a year before. I mean, if they're doing battle here, Piper gets nailed with a chair. Flair is busted open post match, and Piper is not willing to back down, even though he's 2-on-1. Piper busted open as well, and Piper is insane with that. Endorsement from Wahoo McDaniel. McDaniel basically saying he's willing to go at it. McDaniel also highlights with him and Greg Valentine doing battle in a match, and the bond between Piper and McDaniel has been kind of solidified a little bit as they are able to watch each other's back. I hate the arena footage only because it's not light and not not there. Hard shots by Wahoo and managing to do everything he can. And again, hard chops, and the brawl between Valentine and Wahoo is pretty intense. Referee kind of goes stumbling backwards. Back suplex that Valentine manages to shift on and get a pin on at the last minute is there. Masa Fuji is out next, and Wahoo McDaniel is facing off against him in a traditionalized match. Fuji is new in the area, endorses Japanese, and is here for what I consider to be an extended tour. Wahoo McDaniel and he have a basic enough match. Fuji getting a bit of an advantage when he takes it to the mat. Wahoo having an advantage on strikes. Wahoo also using his weight. Fuji goes to the second rope on the inside and manages to go kind of into a more brawling sort of mode. And then we see Wahoo in control. Wahoo does hit a back suplex, or I'm sorry, Fuji hits a back suplex on Wahoo. Wahoo does eventually get a victory here. Wahoo is well protected, although not exactly surprising given a guy's first foray, at least on this TV program and maybe on Mid Atlantic TV overall. Josh Ledoux, and Rick Rude is here. And Rick Rude is, of course, ravishing Rick Rude later, although this is enhancement talent for Mid Atlantic at the time. Rude goes on to World Class for a little bit. Rude goes on to Mid South for a little bit, but this may actually be some of the first matches of Rick Rude. Josh Ledoux holding on to the invert the hammerlock, and then actually takes Rude into a full Nelson, which is rare, and also does the arm crank behind the back deal. So, I mean, it definitely is a one sided match for what had been the former television champion. Then we go to a championship match here. Valentine in one corner, I believe, having the U.S. Championship at this point. Ron Ritchie is there. Ritchie obviously getting an opportunity at the championship in a non-title venue, and punch kick basic stuff. Valentine in control. Valentine hits a backbreaker. Valentine's backbreakers are underrated, by the way, worth checking out if you're a talent looking to see how to make things work. And bit of a brawl. Valentine also takes the man up, drives the man back into the turnbuckle, and then Valentine drops the elbow on his adversary very basically, and Valentine hooks the leg up and gets the win after the hammer drop. So just interesting that he doesn't win every match with the figure four. The continuation of the advancement of the House of Humperdinck is here. Within a couple of weeks, we'll see him talking about Bruiser Brody coming in, although I believe that talk begins in December, so a few weeks off, but still there. Iceman Parsons and Ken Timms is up, and obviously that becomes a bit of a run there. Although Slaughter and Cornoodle against those two is up next as a short match. I say short only because it's not really all that competitive by any stretch of the imagination, and maybe some would say it didn't need to be. Parsons and Black. I don't know the first name on that individual, but Slaughter stays on. His man drops the knee, and hard. Cornoodle comes in with more of the submission style, front face locks and other basic things along the way. Ledoux and the returning Leroy Brown is also here, so that's interesting as it were. And then we see Mike Rotundo with that toilet head looking neck brace is out here against Leroy Brown. They've battled for several weeks as far as run-ins and such, but I think this is the second or third match they've had on television in a singles deal. That neck brace is just pitiful looking. Rotundo, though, more over as a babyface than he has been in the past with the studio audience. Attempted a little bit of a clash of styles. Rotundo does do well with arm bars, and then obviously the shoulder tackle and other basic maneuvers by Brown gets him an advantage, at least in the short run. Brown manages to use his brawling tactics, sends Rotundo out to the floor. Basic maneuvers continue, and then we see a relative, short cutoff on they brawl on the floor for a little bit, and needless to say, it's pretty basic, pretty simple, and then we see kind of bringing him back into the ring, Leroy Brown trying to get an advantage over Mike Rotundo. Hits a body slam and other basic maneuvers along the way, and Rotundo certainly not by any stretch of the imagination unable to continue, but basically gets in a modified piledriver position before Jack Briscoe runs in due to some interference. And then we see their six-man tag team match, which is basically a throwaway, to be completely honest. Six-man tag team match to fill the end of the program, which happens to be Valiant and the Briscoe brothers, Jack and Jerry, versus Ken Timms, Private Nelson, and Gene Anderson. That whole thing takes about 6 minutes and is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a heavy match. Before we get there, though, obviously, Mike Rotundo does cut a promo and continues to say that he must beat, in some form or fashion, Leroy Brown on his own. Doesn't want help from Wahoo, doesn't want help from Briscoe, doesn't want help from anybody, because he believes he's got to do it on his own for it to have maximum impact. The six-man tag team, and they actually do a back-to-back promo, almost like they hadn't shot a promo or just put extra promo in to kill time. Obviously, timing out television shows a little bit difficult in 1982. The six-man tag, the baby faces are in control majority because it's the Briscoes and Valiant. Valiant gets the rub from being in there with the Briscoes. Valiant also getting a few shots in on Gene Anderson, and I imagine Valiant and the Andersons were a thing in Georgia or somewhere over the years. Briscoes do manage to get things together and a quick figure four victory for them. As we close this particular broadcast, we'll be back with more right after this.